Whenever I see you post a build or send us a picture, I can count on some sort of hack or some sort of ingenious use. Uh, hey, Matthew.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, great. How are you?
Okay, can you hear me okay? I don't have the best webcam, so um, you know, hopefully you can understand me.
Yeah, I can see you and hear you just great. How about on my end?
Yeah, all good.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for coming in and talking with me today.
Yeah, no problem, man. Glad to do it.
This is a cool thing that we're starting to do where we try and reach out more to customers and talk with customers a little bit more. And you have you've been there from the beginning with us, so we thought it was a natural fit.
Well, yeah, I've got to thank a friend of mine for getting me involved with it. I work in kind of a niche business. I do timing for 5Ks, triathlons, cross country meets. So it's a real specialty thing, and it's a you know pretty soon you know about everybody or you know somebody that knows everybody, in the business. And a friend of mine named Pat Fox in Florida, he knew that I used to build weird things for my events. And he said, this is just right up your alley. So he sent me a link to it when you guys were on Kickstarter. And of course, that's how I got involved. But I've been really happy with the stuff and excited to show you some of the things that I've done.
Yeah.
Uh, you want me to
Well,
screen share with you, or how do you want to do it?
I do. That would be great, and I'd love to see those. But I have to take this opportunity to sincerely thank you for supporting us with the Kickstarter. We appreciate all of our customers and especially our Kickstarter backers because you guys got myself and my wife Kelly, started down this path. So thank you very much.
Well, hey, no problem. You find something good, you want to get behind it, and it looked really good.
Appreciate it.
Uh, well, why don't I figure out how to show this real quick? And you can tell me if this is host disabled participant. You want to fix that for me? I think you got to allow me to do it.
Yep. Okay. Try it again if you don't
Okay,
mind.
there we go. Okay, cool. So let me get to the proper screen and I can start doing this.
Because you have built some really cool stuff over the years. And I think we've only gotten a taste of what you posted, so I'm really excited to see this.
Okay, are you seeing my desktop?
I see your desktop. Yep.
Okay, cool. I think we're good this way. I've got a lot of other ideas. The problem is time and money, and I just sort of have to pace myself a little bit. The pandemic's helped quite a bit. I guess it's helped and it's hurt, but I've had time to do some of this stuff. Um, but here's
Right.
kind of
So your business it's called Time and Measure. Is that right?
that's right. I do course measurement for these events, which is a whole different niche thing that I could bore you to death with. And then I do the timing, and that's facilitated with a RFID chip timing system. The one that I use is a disposable system, so the chips are throwaways. You put them on the back of the race number, and that's what you run with. But that's again, that's a different demo. But the thing is, it's a portable, implement on site, travel to where the event is, kind of thing. So it's real important for me to have things that are small, that can break down and collapse, that are easy to assemble. And plus, I work from home, so to a large degree, I'm looking to maximize my space in my garage because I just anything I can do to get a couple more cubic feet is awfully helpful. But this first picture is one of the first antenna setups that I had, and I like this, but I quickly went away from this. And it's kind of like with a lot of these builds. You'll make something, and then once you've done it, you realize, well, hey, now that I've done this, let me change X, Y, or Z about it. So that's sort of what happened. But the idea here is this thing. If you can see my mouse moving, that's called a
Mhm.
decoder, and that's what hooks up to these antennas right here. And the way this is built, the weight of the decoder kind of holds the whole antenna set up straight. And you just attach these antennas, and they fire signal, from the side of the road. So the thing I didn't like about this was even though the design was good, it was sort of a pain to carry because it was a space hog. It was all rigid. So what I figured out is I changed the setup and actually changed the antenna too. But down here, what I've done is I've taken the fittings out, the kind of vinyl fitting that you have in the connector. I just take this completely out, and I I use the fitting as more of a hinge, a stiff hinge. A hinge that you can move; it'll sort of stay in place once you move it. So, and I've done this with a lot of my builds. Some of the things that I'll show you, demonstrate it. But what I ended up doing is making these feet that would collapse and kick up, and so now the thing transports flat. And that was version 2, I think. And then I added some front legs so I could raise it if I wanted to and give it a little more height. And then I ended up with, you know, a deal where I could lower the front legs and make it a little more stable. Now what I've got is a system where, I set the decoder on it, the front supports it, the weight holds it down, and it blasts from the side of the road. And then as far as storing them, they collapse pretty flat. I changed the footing a little bit on these, but now I can keep 6 of these in one little cart, and they're real easy to deploy. What you'll notice too is I found some places that sell pre-made. Actually, you can email these guys and tell them what size you want, but they're just big cut pieces of aluminum. So that's flat aluminum that I was using. If we go back here, what I started with was that was actual conduit right there. I just put it in a table vise and flattened it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took some work.
Well, it did, and the intention of it was to, the conduit's got a coating on it, so it's not real conductive. That's why they use it for wire. And I didn't want metal touching that. I didn't want like iron touching that antenna because it'll affect the reed string. So that's what I did. I put some. That's a piece of inner tube underneath that I cut and flattened out from a bicycle to give it kind of a little bit of rubber insulation.
Hmm.
And I flattened that conduit and made brackets out of it. But after doing that a couple of times, I quickly started looking around for some aluminum because it was just too much work. But the aluminum pieces work really good. So that's the build I'm the most proud of because it's the one that I use the most often. We take these things to events, and these antennas work outstanding. But a big part of it is this thing's easy to deploy. You can just pick the thing up and carry it and set it right down. There's really not much assembly at all. And another big part of the builds is I don't want people to have to carry wrenches and tools and things like that out with them because that's just something else for me to forget and something else to get lost, and not come back from the event. So this
Right.
thing's real. That's where these little using these things as a hinges really help because I haven't had to, take the thing and assemble it on site. I just kind of, grab this arm here and bend the thing out like I want it and set it down.
Right. So these are positioned all through the race course. So you do split timing as well as start and stop at the
That's
at the
correct.
event.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's why these are great for splits because you're trying to get them out in a hurry, and a lot of times you can't get out on the road with a set of mats. If I go back a few pictures here, you see this big stack of stuff in the background.
Oh yeah.
Those are mats. Those have antennas in them too. So like your start and finish line and places like that, you set those out, and they're a little better. They read the chips a little bit better, but there are a lot of places where this really more portable thing works just fine. But anyway, there's that one.
Well, I really, whenever I see you post a build or send us a picture, I can count on some sort of hack or some sort of ingenious use that you do, and I can see that evident here, like that taking the band off and using it as a hinge. I think you're one of the first people I saw to do that, and you're right, it is kind of like a stiff hinge in the way that it moves, and then I see you fastened the conduit into the connectors with another bolt. Is that right?
Well, yeah, so that's what you need to do if you're going to use this thing as a hinge. You need to, and I'll show you on a different build here. You can kind of see it on this one, but I shot a self-tapping screw through there just to make sure these things don't, pop out or spin or anything like that.
Hmm.
Because over time, what happens is that joint is going to polish, and it's going to get to where it doesn't hold as tight. So a couple of screws in the key positions will help keep that from keep the piece from falling
Right,
out.
because it's tightened, but it's not really snug down if you're using it as a hinge, right?
Now it might be a couple pounds of torque less than you would normally, do for a regular build because
Right.
I want this thing to be able to move a little bit. But it is sort of a touch and feel thing. You tighten it and you kind of grab the leg and move it, and you'll know when it's tight enough for you.
Hmm.
And once I get to that spot, that's when I cinch it down with a screw.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's that one, and then the next one here is one I just did. Same kind of thing. So I have a external monitor. It's like a USB monitor that I can plug into my laptop. And sometimes in an event, I want to have an extra screen, and you don't want to have to carry the monitor case with you or anything like that, and you might want a little more height, a little more elevation. And so what I found online was this thing here that's a tablet holder. It's made for like putting an iPad on.
Uh,
And the problem is the height. It didn't when I put the screen on it, it didn't sit high enough for me. So I made this little stand here, and the same kind of thing. I've made this middle part a hinge, and it will. What I did there at the bottom was I took some of those rubber footings from like a table, that you can buy at Home Depot, and I just cut the end of it out so I could push the thing all the way up to the edge here. And the effect of that is to give me a little bit of rubber, a little bit of rubber there on the table. And it gives me a little bit of space so at the bottom of the maker pipe doesn't scratch the table or whatever I'm on whenever I move that hinge. So it kind of, gives me just a little bit of elevation.
oh
And
yeah, that's fantastic. That's so clever. I've never seen that before. So those are just that same 7/8 inch rubber foot with
yeah,
the bottom cut out.
yeah. So I saw another guy that built something and he'd used rubber hose for something similar. And I think that was a pretty good idea too. But I wish I'd seen that before I built this thing. But anyway, by using this piece and having that on the ends, that makes sure that the height is uniform. It's not gonna wobble and stuff. And then there's the monitor on it. And what's
Great.
great about it is it'll pack flat, so I can stick it in the tub. So
Uh, you are the master of flat pack. Move over
yeah,
IKEA. Here, here comes Matthew Compton.
all right. So there's that one.
Nice.
Uh,
That's great.
this is a demo of what happens. So there's your fitting with the normal vinyl inside of it, and then that's one that I took off of something. It'll polish it out. Now, if you really wanted things to be smooth, and maybe move a little more freely, you could always just get some fine grade sandpaper and polish them down some more, take the paint out, polish your conduit too, and you could probably make it more of a real swing hinge if you wanted to. For
Hmm.
me, I want it to be a stiff hinge. I don't want it to move very much. I want it to stay where I put it. But if you're making a gate or I don't know any number of things out of the pipe, you could certainly make a hinge. It's just a matter of getting out here and grinding it down a little bit. So there's that. There's the desk that you've already seen, and I wish I could tell you that my son isn't a big slob, but at least you can see all the stuff that you can stack on it. And that's the same thing there. That's an Amazon desk right there in the bottom, and he just didn't have enough working space on it. So not that I would call what he's got on here work items, but he wanted a place to stack more crap, and I made it for him out of the pipe kit. And I got lucky enough to find some shelves that are a close match to that countertop, and I think I got them at Lowe's. Um, and
It
so it was
really
a
did match well. It
yeah,
on first look, you don't realize that the desk was purchased, and then you made everything around it. But you can see that it's really neat. This is one of my favorites.
and now that I built it, I'm thinking, God, why don't I just put some straight arms on here and just get rid of the whole desk from Amazon? Go buy a countertop and just go a little further with it. But I sort of stopped. You just after a while, you're tired of messing with it.
So, sure, you've already got it. Why replace it?
Um, the other thing too is you can mount some light holders and some things. I've got some other stuff that I use that's audio video stuff that I use from like Guitar Center. That's their pole mounts that I use for different things that I do, and it works good with this stuff too. I think I've got a picture of some of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be great to see. I think people are always looking for those types of solutions.
You saw this one. This one I did a couple of weeks ago. And Not the only thing I need to do to it is maybe make the bottom arm, the 45, extend backward a little bit because the weight has become a little bit of a problem with the monitors on it. But I'll fix that. Same thing here. The bottom here, I've got it just tight enough so that it holds it, but you can spin that hole upright if you want to, and you can also spin the part that's holding the monitor bracket there. So it's
Hmm.
all real adjustable. And of course, once it's on there, it's looks real nice. I would have put some black wrap on it, but I wasn't sure I was finished with it. So I probably will once I finally tweak it up a little bit more.
Yeah, it came out great. I think you judged the quality of the dual monitor stand by the gap in between the two monitors, and I can hardly see any daylight in between the two monitors. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and if you got some bigger monitors, you could always just move these pieces, left or right, whatever you wanted to do. So that's what's
Yeah,
great about this stuff. You can always take it apart and just redo real easily.
right. I since you posted this and how you mounted the monitors, I've shared it a dozen times at least with people asking because that was a common problem, and we really didn't have a good solution. But I think the way you did it here is great. If you could explain that.
Well, I wish I could take full credit for it, but kind of in my you know, tinkering thing that I do, I had a set of triathlon bars that fit onto their aero bars that fit onto a bicycle. There were some real old bars. This is maybe 10 years ago, and they clamped on kind of like this. They had a clamp. They had kind of a cast iron aluminum fitting that would go where these threads are, and that's what clamped onto the handlebar itself. But the long rods were attached to the clamp with something like this, and so I sort of borrowed that idea. But what we got here is a piece of conduit, and that's just a long carriage bolt, and I've got a washer that's just the right width to cover the top of that conduit on both ends, and then you just kind of hold it with your finger while you're getting it tight enough. And I took a vice grip and kind of gripped around the edge to make sure the washer didn't slide while I was tightening it.
Hmm.
Just tighten the thing down, and then you end up having kind of this stem with the screw end on it, and you can attach all kinds of stuff to that. You could attach lumber, anything flat to it that you want to. So, and in this case, I put it inside of the maker pipe, so it ended up becoming the arm, the holder for this bracket.
Right, and that's super clean. I mean that the threaded part only sticks out just enough so you can put that nylock nut on there and put the mount. What kind of mount is that?
That's so I could I don't have a picture of the back of the TV, but it was just like a flat television mount, like a wall mount that you'd buy at Walmart or Lowe's or something. They sell all kinds of them. So it's
Hmm.
a deal where normally you would have mounted this against the wall on a stud, and then you take the other side of it and you attach that to the television, and then you just sort of drop the TV right down onto those grooves. So I don't have a good pic of that, sorry, but it's not a real unique thing. You can find it anywhere really, any place that sells mounts for flat screen televisions.
Sure, yeah,
Um,
or like you were saying, anything that has where you need to mount it through a hole and bolt down on it. This is
yeah.
a good solution.
So this one I made a long time ago, and I had a client that needed some signs at their race, and of course you could put anything you wanted to on these, but the deal was, I don't know if you can see them. I've got some smaller conduit inside there, and what I can do is raise up the arms to make it taller, so we can put a bigger sign in there if we want to. I think in this case, I built the frame. I didn't know how big the sign was going to be, so I just made it so that I could make it taller if I wanted to.
Hmm.
Um, and then I've got, the whole thing fits together with these cotter pins that I got at Home Depot. There you go. So, if I want to raise it, I just loosen those things up. And I drilled some holes inside that piece of conduit so that, like every foot, I could stick another, I could raise up to another hole and stick the pin back in. And then it collapses real nice and flat. Again, it's got to be easy to implement and portable. And the good thing with these clamps here, I mean, these pins, is I don't have to carry out a socket set or an Allen key or anything like that. We just pull the thing out and drop it right back in. When we leave, they're still, well, I guess they are here. Yeah, they are. They're right there.
What was that to elevate the pipes above the banner, or how did that really adjust the height?
Well, so the banner, so say this banner had been an extra 4 feet taller and I wanted to have a little more elevation. Well, I wanted to
Oh,
make the sign structure taller. This lets me kick up 2 extension poles so I can, have the whole thing be a little taller. I could have
gotcha.
I could have made a rod or something that went across here that joined to the one I had on the other side. It would have made a little more sense that way, but I didn't do it. I think at the time you didn't have the little uh, the little PVC pieces that'll help you use a smaller pipe. Uh,
Oh yeah, because that's half inch EMT inside of.
right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That came along a little bit after, and you could do another maker pipe clamp on that and run a bar across. But I
Right.
get it now. That makes sense.
It was to make it telescopic. That's what I was trying to say. It was to make it, movable, make it grow, that kind of thing.
Right. That's
So,
great.
yeah. So that's one of my result stands that we use. So people look up the result on a tablet. And the way that I've got that assembled is I found a tablet holder, and then I found this. I was telling you about this clamp. They sell these things at Guitar Center, or it's a these places that do big light production and stuff like that, a DJ shop, whatever. This is something you can mount a can light on,
Mm,
and that's a cast aluminum piece, and you just attach it to a pole and just wrench down with that thumb bolt until it gets tight enough to hold it. So that'll work good with maker pipe too. You could attach that to conduit or whatever, but
yeah, that's neat. I haven't seen that before.
it's just a pole clamp. But anyway, kind of neat part. This thing you've seen already. That's something I use for my camera. Um, that is off of a motorcycle, I think. The motorcycle supply shop. That was supposed to be like a GPS holder, I think, and I just made it into a camera holder. And the idea is I can carry that portable camera around. That's a sport camera, kind of like a GoPro.
Right.
So I can take it and swing it around and use it, not have to hold it in my hand, and then I can set it down if I want to, and just let it be static.
Yeah, that
Um,
was neat.
yeah, and it folds flat too. If you want to put your hands on those feet and then kind of bend the arm down, it'll flatten back out so you can carry it flat. Gosh, anything else for you? I think that's it. That's not everything I built, but that's most of the stuff that's in frequent use. I've got a couple of projects on the books, but I just got to find time to work on them. I'm going to make a basket for my truck bed, something that goes above the wheel wells so that I can put sacks and stuff like that in there, not having, slinging all around the truck when I drive. And then my timing trailer is going to get some real cool stuff when I get some time to work on that. Um, my timing trailer is kind of like a mobile office. We carry the gear out in it, but as soon as everything is deployed, we sit in there, and that's where we score the races. So I'm going to build a few, fold up kits out of this stuff that'll be permanently attached inside the trailers. Kind of like a fold up table, and you know, some pull down monitor arms and that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, that
anyway,
sounds great. And we've had a lot of requests for outfitting vans or trailers with kind of modular furniture or storage solutions. So I'm looking forward to what you come up with there. I can't wait to see it.
I like the guy that did the roof rack. He had the big the dark gray kind of sprinter van that he'd done the roof rack with. That was really slick. That's what gave me the idea on the truck. So I'm probably going to copy a lot of what he did
Oh,
when I do that.
good, good. Yeah, the Bacons who did the roof rack and were traveling around in their Ram ProMaster. Yeah, it was great to be able to see them and interview them in our town when they were passing through. That was a great opportunity, and I'm glad to hear that it was you could glean some ideas from them because they did a nice job.
Well, I love the stuff. I think this is a great product. I hope you guys have great luck getting it out to other people. I'm a big cheerleader for it. People love what I've made. Now, they don't want to make it themselves, but one of these days somebody will catch on and they'll grab these pipe fittings and they'll start to do things with them. I've got a big basket of it, and I'm constantly pulling them out to figure out what I can do with them. So I'm anxious to see the new products and stuff, and uh, glad you guys like the hacks. I like seeing what you guys post from other people too. So keep it up, you know.
Oh, good. Thank you, Matthew. We appreciate you, and thank you for backing us with the Kickstarter and all the support, and then talking with me today. It's really cool to see all of the builds that you've done, and hear about the ones you're planning too.
You bet. Well, thanks a lot. Till next time.
All
See
right.
ya.
Thanks.